Yes, guys, we are finally back again for another reaction on this BrBpTV. Be real, be positive television, brothers and sisters. Welcome to each and every one of you guys who tuned in to another vibrations. And of course, guys, I also dropped another vlog, another Mr. Lex vlogs on the Mr. Lex vlogs channel, guys. That link will be in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. So definitely check that out right there. Of course, the vibration continues. You don't know we roll already, guys. Anyways, with all I said right there, let us get into the vibrations for today, guys. There's an anti-man out there. There's an individual out there who seems to be in disrepute on the things that he's saying in different islands. And of course, he's none other than this individual right there. And of course, WICKHAM is saying no to Bajans in the diaspora voting in local elections. Now, this has been sent to me quite a number of times, stating that he's flip-flopping in that regard and the things. Of course, he's an individual who is a political scientist from my understanding, and of course deals with another number of countries in the understanding of, I guess, you know, elections and what have you surrounding it, and who in his thoughts, based off his profession, who he thinks needs to be, you know, put in certain positions to do things on the basis of the people electing them and the necessities of which people should elect them. However, in Dominica, he doesn't seem to have a problem with diasporans coming to vote. And of course, I have a number of comments there. I'll just read it out for you guys. But let's get into this article right there. WICKHAM says no to Bajans in the diaspora voting in local elections. Political scientist Peter WICKHAM strongly advises against members of the diaspora registering and voting on the Barbados' current electoral system, as Barbadians living overseas continue to demand the right to vote, just like individuals overseas in Dominica diaspora say they want to vote and they want to come and vote. They live in other countries. They don't seem to come to Dominica and see the real gist and the struggle of it, but they also have or want the right to vote based off the laws that are being stated right there. This is why electoral reform is needed. And I believe if we want to make the overseas voters vote, I believe that, okay, fine, you want to vote, then you vote in digital constituencies. I believed in one, but when I listened to what Rosie Douglas back in the day would say, he actually wanted 2 of them. That would make sense considering Dominica has 21 constituencies. And if you were to add one, and if there's 10, then what is the tiebreaker? Everybody will be government? Okay, I think there would need to be an extra one. And as a result of that, having 2 digital constituencies for the overseas voters. That's how I believe it is. And I think that will solve a lot of the problems that Dominica has right there. But I don't think it's on the basis of trying to solve problems. It's trying to manipulate. What is happening with the electoral reform system is on the basis of trying to manipulate people to do the bidding of their leaders or masters, so to speak, instead of doing what is needed for the people. That is what electoral reform is, you know. It is needed for the people, not for the leaders at the top. The people need to elect. Therefore, should a representing for free and fair elections when they elect the leaders. Now, individuals from overseas will say, oh, I want to vote. Well, vote in your digital constituency. And if you vote in your digital constituency, it will not affect the rest. There are 21 constituencies versus 2. So if the people in the country want to vote for Labour, then great. If the 2 constituencies want to vote for Papi, then great. But if the people in the country want to vote for Labour, then they will vote for Labour. Don't bring the people from overseas to come in and then say, oh, I can vote in it. Fine, you can vote. But you live in overseas. You want to have a say in the elections? Fine, vote in the 2 digital constituencies. I think that will be very much likely right there. But based on what WICKHAM is saying right there, he does not want anything of that sort. He's saying Azerbaijans living overseas continue to demand the right to vote. Well, no, let me read the first thing. Political science WICKHAM, strongly advises against members of the diaspora registering and voting on the Barbados' current electoral system. That is very interesting right there. As Barbadians living overseas continue to demand the right to vote in the island's general elections, WICKHAM said allowing them to do so would what? Essentially leaving an electoral system in the hands of persons who do not live in Dominica. He said Barbados, but that's exactly what is happening in Dominica. It is literally leaving the hands, and when they put people in certain positions in certain constituencies who may be voting more than once or twice in different places, so then till the elections to their thing, they know what they're doing, brothers and sisters. They have studied these things to find out how they can manipulate and do things. But WICKHAM is pretty much saying against that thing. He said no overseas voters should come and vote. in the people. It's very clear. Wickham said that persons in the diaspora will be casting their votes at an embassy or via the internet, leaving those living in Barbados to deal with decisions that they have made. Well, he pretty much talking against what I was saying, but he's saying leave them out completely. Leave them out completely. And I agree, we should leave them out completely. But if they have the right to vote, and people in the country want the people overseas to vote, which does make no sense to me at all, because I listen to electoral reform meetings, and even though we strongly believe that these people were advised by their leaders to say what they were saying, what they were saying was not on the basis of doing anything that is fair. They're just saying they don't believe that people should be taken off the list. Is that creating free and fair elections in Dominica? No, it's not. Therefore, there needs to be some sort of adjustment. I don't think people understand what was going on there. I don't think people understand what was happening there. Anyways, Wickham is then saying, I think that is highly unwise. It is highly unwise. It is highly unwise. It is better for them to vote online, true, in 2 constituencies, not in their constituency, in 2 constituencies. I think that will also help them as well in the basis that they want to vote. Then vote online in 2 constituencies or 1 constituency. Barbados has 10 constituencies. Then make 1. And let all the people from overseas vote in that 1 constituency. They will have the right to vote. But they will not tilt the scale in accordance to what the leaders, the wicked leaders want. They would wreck it. It would reflect the will of the people, those who are living in the country. He says, I think that it is highly unwise, and said that he had made his contributions to Sunday Parliament Reform Commission special diaspora Zoom hall meeting. Wickham said that given Barbados' political reality, it would not be advisable to just have 200,000 to 300,000 people from the diaspora just joining the electoral register and voting from a place they live. I agree with that. And my point here is, if they're saying that if the people of the country living in the country say they want overseas voters to vote, well, make them vote online so that everybody's happy. But the true basis of it, I agree with him when he stated that nobody from overseas who are living overseas should have a right in the country that is suffering. They shouldn't have a right to vote. The people living in the country should be the only ones voting. You want to vote? Come back and live in the country. Just like the whole CARICOM situation. You don't have to be a Dominican to vote, brothers and sisters. You live in Dominica for a while. You have a CARICOM passport or whatever. You can be from Trinidad. No, I don't think it's Trinidad. You can be from Antigua or wherever. You live in Dominica for a while. You are able to vote. I know individuals who live in far from Dominica, who came down to Dominica and were living in Dominica and ended up voting. I know, they're not from Dominica at all. So, but he's saying that they should not vote. It is unwise. However, Wickham suggested we create some kind of vehicle where we have diaspora representatives and we let persons who are residing in the diaspora vote for that person. I agree. That's another way to put it. You want to have your election and therefore you have, it's pretty much the same thing that I'm saying. But I'm just saying, okay, you have labor, you have workers on the list. He's saying that, okay, we need to have a representative in the constituencies overseas, whoever, and you vote for that person. Maybe you have 2 elections and you have Biden and Obama. You vote for the terrible one. You get my point, brothers and sisters. Anyways, he's saying that overseas should have their representative, and then, and so forth and so forth. Now that persons can sit in parliament, in the lower house, in the upper house, or wherever. And I think it is tedious. It is interesting enough that is something, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonzalez, proposed when he made constitutional reform in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because they have a similar problem. Dominica has that similar problem as well. And it's very easy to find a solution. If you want them to vote, make them vote overseas alone in 2 constituencies. You have the northern part above the equator and you have the southern part below the equator. So you have 2 constituencies. You check. If you want to do it that way, that is the best way to do it. Don't let these people come in different, and they want to be jumping different constituencies and voting. What is that? One of the people I know say he vote in 3 places. 3 places he vote in. Dominica is one of them. He votes in another country and another country. That is interesting. I think we need to understand that this is not good, especially when it's a reflection of the will of the people. The will of the people are those living in Dominica or living in Barbados who are struggling as a result of when they bring in people from overseas to tilt the scale. This is why they tend to do surveys, before. They tend to do surveys before, so they know in which places that they need to bring people. Okay, you guys go over there. And one of the individuals that came down and voted in Dominica told me, boy, they didn't even ask for any ID or they didn't even check anything. I just called the name and they ticked it. I didn't have to show anything. I call a name, they watch the thing, and they see it empty, they tick it, and I go inside and vote. He told me that. He come from overseas and come in and tell me that he didn't have to think. So people want to tell me that there's no way that means to manipulate the elections. Really? I agree with the anti-man. I agree with the man right there. Anyways, now that we have been proposed, anyways, let me go a little bit up there. It gives us the opportunity to have someone to express our concerns from overseas. Still, it also locks the support down to one person. Yes, one constituency. Talking about a person, talking about constituency, a digital constituency, northern constituency, southern constituency. It locks them to that specific thing and not the country, and does not create a situation in which that individual can change the course of government on the basis of voting, in this case, for the people who live in the country. I agree with that statement. Well, I add for the people who live in the country. You get the point. Now, that would have been my proposal, and I'm hoping that in the course of your conversations and this issue comes up, guys, I'm just thinking to myself, I listen to people talking and say, oh, we don't need this, we don't need that, we need to leave it this way, we don't need these things. I don't think people understood what the discussion was about now. The discussion was how to make it free and fair for everybody. Not for you, not for me, but for everybody. And people come in and talk. Well, then again, the leaders were giving the people their points. That's why they had papers and stuff to read, so that they know the points that they need to say. So then when they come in, they can then manipulate electoral reform and expect better. That doesn't reflect the true will of the people. I mean, come on. No, that would be not. He said that, what I said, there would have been his proposal, and he's hoping that in the course of the conversation and the issue comes up again, you would give consideration, and I'm hoping that the commission would also give consideration to the proposal that is given, and of course he would like to have made which helps to address not only the concerns of the diaspora, but everybody else in that regard right there. Indicating that there are good reasons why Barbadians living overseas want to vote in general elections. We can further explain that this could result in an exponentially large number of voters. All we know in Dominica for sure, they have the problem, but we also know that for sure is that there are more Dominicans living overseas than in Dominica. Dominica claim that there are 70,000 people. The people in Dominica believe that they are less than that. I personally believe there's about 50,000 people, not 70,000 people at all in Dominica. This is why they bring in all sorts of people and then they're doing counting. Maybe that's what I remember from my understanding. Kempinski didn't have capacities when they were fooling what do you call that? The rooms. The rooms are hardly occupied. They didn't, from my understanding, didn't full 10% capacity at any time. They never filled 10% capacity at any time, from my understanding, brothers and sisters. And because of that, they decided to tally people who coming in for events and this kind of things there. Events, people coming in, if you come to buy lunch and this kind of things there, they would tally people. People who come on Kempinski and they tally you. That's how they calculated the tally. They have exaggerated it. Most likely that's what they do in the next year as well. Exaggeration. Brothers and sisters, we have to be mindful of the exaggerated numbers. But we have to, when people are overseas and, there might be 150,000 Dominicans overseas, and there are about 50 to 70,000 in Dominica. When you bring on a quarter of them to come and vote and tilt it, they can tilt the scales. Come on, people. You know what Dominicans I meet all over the place? I just met an individual yesterday who told me that he knows about Dominica. He came to visit Guadeloupe and whatnot, and he know about about Dominica right there. Anyways, the individual on the WICKHAM individual is saying the challenge I have With this, in some respects, let me go further to further back so we understand the context, indicating that there are good news why Barbadians living overseas want to vote in general elections. WICKHAM further explained that this could result in an exponential large number of voters. The challenge I have with this, in some recent elections, we have had majority of 50 or 100 or 200, and this can become problematic because it is not so much a question of if these people vote, but where they vote. That is another problem in Dominica. The same problem seems to be happening across the Caribbean islands. It's not if they vote, but where they vote in. Technically speaking, you vote for a representative. Yes, so on that basis, that's why I would understand why you're saying, okay, they vote for the representative overseas. I think in Dominica, it needs to be workers of freedom or labor or whatever is on the balance sheet box for the Dominica representative, and then the people overseas in the two diasporas will vote for whichever one they want. You want to have a stake, no problem. Well, vote in the digital constituency and let the Dominican people in Dominica not be affected by the overseas voters. Brothers and sisters, it's very clear. I don't understand how OSC seeing it, not seeing it. When there are a lot of planes and boats and all these things coming out during the election time, and you don't think it's people that are being paid or given free tickets to come and vote. They know that they will not win if the people from overseas are not in Dominica when it comes down to election time. They know this. And you telling me that you're not seeing that there's a problem there. I think they're seeing it, but it's based off the laws, brothers and sisters. It still comes back to the laws. I remember they were indicating that the very first time I remember they came from my knowledge. I think that was in 2014 or something like that. When they came for the first time, from my understanding, from my memory, and they came and they said, I remember the off the record discussions that they were having. They say that the laws need to be changed, but they have to go based off the laws, and based off the laws they make official their statements of the laws. You cannot go and say, but they indicated that as well. They indicated that the laws need to be changed. Some of the laws are outdated. They stated these things. But anyways, brothers and sisters, let me continue reading. The challenge I have with this, in some recent elections, we have majority of 50, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so if you are a resident overseas, and in some instances, the family home that you may have come from initially is not functioning, you may find yourself having to register somewhere. Somewhere that has nothing to do with you. You register somewhere? All right then. And there's go overseas and register people. I can't say that for 100%, but from my understanding of what other individuals in certain places who were sending people down to vote in Dominica, that's what they indicated to me. Registering people overseas, and yes, man. So that all these things that can happen, brothers and sisters, all these things can happen. When you're thinking, let's just think there. No. The people who are in charge doing things and sending things for people to register, whoever registering them on the thing, and the government probably giving them and say, okay, register that person there, and then when the list come out, that person have to go there, and so forth. All sorts of things has happened, brothers and sisters. All sorts of strange things can happen. Anyways, he's saying right there, so if you are a resident overseas, and in some instances the family home that you have been have come to from initially is not functioning, you may find yourself where? Having to register somewhere else, and you may just register anywhere. Be that the case, it is possible to register anywhere. And if you can register anywhere, then that can be dangerous. That can be very much dangerous, especially if you are saying, I'm this person, and you're not showing ID to identify yourself. You just call it a name, from my understanding. Call it a name, and then you can even, let's say you can even create, brothers and sisters, even if they're asking for ID. You can then create and say, you can create fake passports. You can create all sorts of fake things and put it out there. Hey, that's me. That's my picture. Hey, look, your ID book. Okay, cool. Go ahead. They do cross-referencing to find out if it's true or not. No. This is why voter ID cards are needed. If there are voter ID cards, you go to vote. You scan the card, bow. It shows that is you, that then you continue. It must be in the system. At least alleviate. So two things that can definitely do things. If you want overseas voters to vote, put them in their own digital currency and constituency, and voter ID cards are needed. So if you have voter ID cards, you know people cannot just come and say, why over there and I there. No, you are registered to vote in a particular area. And your card will indicate that's the way you need to vote. You can go somewhere else and vote. So even eliminating people in the country going other places to vote as well. People have met me saying they have come to Dominica and voted. We have come to Dominica and voted. Anyways, let me read the last thing right there, and then I'll read some of the comments that are there. So if you are a resident overseas, and in some instances the family home that you may have come from initially is not functioning, you may find yourself having the right to register somewhere else, and you may just have register, and you may just register anywhere, and there is such limited control over it that it may come to a situation where the vote overseas gets to determine, yes, that is happening in Dominica, gets to determine the outcome of the election in functional terms. And that is exactly what happened in St. Kitts, Wickham State. That's what they say that's what happened in St. Kitts. On the basis, but last election, they didn't have that, no? Remember when Douglas, them were trying to come and they couldn't get, they were trying to get overseas voters to vote. And it didn't happen. They were trying to get overseas voters to come into St. Kitts. I think during the whole Rona situation or some sort of situation that was happening. They were trying to get the overseas voters to come. But they could not work. As a result of not coming to work, government ended up changing. And it has changed ever since. Now, last election, I think it changed back, but it's not Douglas that running the things now. So that's a very interesting thing, brothers and sisters. But I believe if we want to make elevating, or if we want elevation, we need to start doing things the right way. And that is ensuring that the people do not come from overseas and come to Dominica and go into different constituencies and vote. I understand people want to vote, but who tell you go and live overseas? If you live in overseas, vote overseas. Now, if you can't vote overseas, what you come in Dominica do? You just come to Dominica for the... Guys, right now is Creole season, you know. Two of the best times to come in Dominica is Creole season and Carnival season. These are the times where diaspora people come down to Dominica. Mainly, they don't come down anywhere else. We have jazz and Creole afterwards. It's the French people are coming. French people from all over the place. France, even France people come in. Croatia, I met a lady from Croatia coming on jazz and Creole. She knows because she saw it from my video. And she checked it, she had to come down. She was in the Caribbean. She came to Dominica. It's only during the fun times it seems like Dominicans want to come to Dominica. They don't want to go through the grind. You come in and vote for what? Stay in the country where you live in or reside in and vote there. You have no privilege in Dominica to come and vote if you're not living in the country. I still understand the sentiment of individuals who live in the country for a while. Even though they're not Dominicans, they should have the ability to vote too because they feel in the grind of the country. I heard a lady saying that and I agree with her. Oh, they're not Dominican, but they live in Dominica, they're paying taxes in Dominica, all these kind of things. They're just like in St. Kitts. The Dominicans living in St. Kitts also participating in what? They're participating in getting money from the CBI program. They may not get as much as the residents, the actual citizens themselves, but they are also getting monies from the CBI program. It's not just for some people, it's also for all those who participating in the elevation or the destruction of the country. If things are going well in the country and you're participating in it, great, you should benefit. If things are going wrong in the country and you participating in it, you should also benefit from the destruction of it. And when I mean benefit, brothers and sisters, I talking about suffering the consequences. Okay? Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on this? I'll leave this link in the description below so you guys can check it out. Don't forget to check out the latest vlog that I've done. You guys definitely want to check out the vibrations. If you have not subscribed to the Mr. Leaks Vlogs channel, definitely do so, guys, because there's some vibes. We're having fun. Vibes, man. Check it out right here. The link will be in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. Anyways, with all that stated right there, guys, give this video a thumbs up and of course subscribe and turn on that post notifications so you can get all of videos as they tend to come through. And don't forget, guys, to scan the thing at the bottom here so you can get all my videos and my app. You'll get my app and get in the app you'll get all the videos and the latest vibrations when I drop them, when they come out right there. Anyways, guys, if all that stated right there, give this video a thumbs up like I said it before, and remember, guys, be real, be positive. I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. Boom, bang.